All right, so first things first, we're going to talk about oscilloscope probes. If you know, then you know, and you can skip ahead. But if you don't know, an oscilloscope probe basically consists of two things. There's the tip, which is where you measure your actual signal, and then there's the ground clip here. And, well, what's the purpose of the ground clip? Basically, when you measure a voltage, it's always a voltage between two things. So the ground gives you a reference to compare your signal voltage to. So with all of that out of the way, the ground clip is connected to what I call the ground barrel. This is a cylinder of metal that runs up and then it's separated from the tip, which is good because if they came in contact, you would lose your signal and make no measurement. Electrostatic Technology actually sells an Aegis probe that is much like this, but it has heat shrink over the ground barrel. And the reason for that is in case there are any loose fibers or stray fibers inside one of our shaft voltage testing tips. Well, if there are loose fibers and they touch the ground barrel, then you're going to get no signal. But most of the time, it's fine not to have this heat shrunk. It's just, belt and suspenders if you want to heat shrink it. If there is a problem, you find out when you go to measure and you get 0 voltage for everything you try to measure. With all that said, let's put on a probe tip. You just slide it on down the barrel and then tighten the set screw. All right, next step, we'll plug into channel 1 on the top of the scope here. The next thing to do, very important, something like 90% of all the errors we see are caused by missing this. Check the attenuation. This probe has a little slide on when it's toward the tip. It's at 1x. In the other direction, it's 10x. We always use 10x or 10 to 1 when measuring shaft voltage. Now, the next thing is that we can actually we can tune the probe. We can calibrate it to make sure that it's getting good, accurate measurements at high frequencies. So the scope has a built-in square wave generator right between the B and C connectors for your two probes. So the way you use this is you connect your ground clamp to the channel 2 connector, and then you touch your probe tip to the square wave contact. Now we've got signal, and we can see that these are not quite square waves. So the way you fix that is the probe comes with a tiny little flathead screwdriver, and there's a set screw at the base of the probe that you can turn to adjust the high frequency response and then give yourself a nice square wave. And then you can have that much more confidence in your measurements.